you own this gym, the best gym in town. Today we're going to be going over some deadlifting techniques, and some supplemental movements that are going to make your deadlift stronger. So just starting with the basic deadlift, two ways of doing it, conventional and sumo. Both are good. I suggest you try both and see what works best for you and what feels best for you. Starting with conventional deadlift, shoulder width apart, flat back. I'm going to pull the slack out of the bar before I pull, so I'm tight against the bar, and then it's just up, up, up. As soon as it clears my knees, I shoot my hips through. So all one motion. And then sumo deadlifting, everyone has different widths for their feet. Some guys will literally go feet against the bar. Most people more in this range. Same idea, pulling tight against the bar. So I pull tight, and then same thing, up, 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 shoot my hips forward. A lot of common mistakes with the deadlift is that people will try to use their quads too much and stand up like that, which is putting bad pressure on your back and your knees, and you're not getting usage of your glutes and hamstrings. And so ideally, you are sitting down, but just enough to load your glutes and hamstrings while still being able to use your back. And then with this, big mistake is that people will stay too far forward and like that, which is a big risk for injury, and you're wasting a lot of your strength. You really want to push those hips through and use every muscle that you can. So that's basic deadlift form. Some good tricks. If you have a hard time getting the bar off the floor, getting going, then a good one is deficit pulls, which is just standing on, we have rubber pads, or standing on a little box, or putting the weights up as well, just so the bar is lower to the floor. And so, same idea though, it's just lower to the floor. So you're adding, with this, I'm adding 1.5 inches. Guys will go all the way into a break against their feet. And some people will just do all of their pulling on one mat, and then when they go to a meet, that 3/4 of an inch does make a difference. So that's deadlifting, deficit deadlifting. And then we throw the chains on. So the idea with the chains is that as you lift up, each link comes off the floor and it gets heavier. And so a lot of guys, when they're deadlifting, they'll come up fast and they'll get stuck here and it just won't go. And so with the chains, it's training you to accelerate through as they come up because it gets heavier. And so it's a good way to overload your deadlift. It's something I would not do every week because it's going to burn you up. And then moving to the rack. Another good one to train your lockout and to handle higher loads is to do a rack pull, which is just a partial deadlift. And by doing this, you're putting yourself just in different starting positions. And so I picked this position because a lot of guys get stuck right below the knees, right here. And this is going to train you to really drive your hips forward, because if you can't push the hips forward, you're not going to get this for sure. And a really good thing to throw in with rack pulls is bands, because it just makes that hip, it's just that much harder on the hips, and you're going to put that much more force into it. So back really flat, again, comes past the knee. I'm putting my hips forward. And then same thing with sumo. Pulling the slack out of the bar. Boom. So that's your rack pull and rack pull with bands. And then the last thing I'll show you is in the rack over here. So this is called reverse band deadlifting, and this is going to feel just like chains. Just like deadlifting with the chains. As you go up, it gets heavier. Another way to overload your deadlift. So let's say your deadlift is 500 pounds regularly. But with this, you can maybe put 600 pounds on the bar, and at the bottom, you'd have less than 500, but as it goes up, it gets heavier. So at the top, you've got 600, so it's, as it comes up, the bands lose their slack, and I have all the weight on the top. Same thing, sumo. So up, it's getting heavier and heavier, boom. So again, it's just another way to overload your deadlift. It's not something I would do more than maybe once a month because it's so hard on your central nervous system. But throwing in just a couple of these things routinely is going to make you stronger at deadlifting, guaranteed. Hope this video is helpful, and thanks for watching.